Moscow on the verge of collapse. The paranoid America pounces on the city. While on the other front, Japan realizes its demise won't be fun. The Americans push further and further. No one can stop them. The paranoid Americans will secure global domination soon. But let's get into it and see how the Americans march to victory alongside the Washington Pact and how the Soviets were torn apart. Well, please subscribe and let's get in with the push on Moscow. And you might be saying, so which direction do they come from? I think this is right. They come out of here, heading straight to Moscow. And from the south, they manage to link up the Ukraine front by land to the Caucasus front, so they start moving north. And while from the Finland front, they start moving this way in the northern Russia, which is too cold, so they start heading south to Moscow. With Moscow surrounded on multiple sides, well, let's go and see how the invasion of China goes. With them deciding to take out to take out Jammu and Kashmir first, quickly allowing them to link up the troops here. And after that, they keep advancing. As they rapidly advance into Xinjiang now. They then go into Tibet from this front. A bit slow, as they start flooding Tibet from the other side. And from the south. Though slow because of the geography. And while they move north into Xinjiang, quickly seizing it all. Thus now, they've seized this and this fully to the border. But let's see how the invasion of Xinjiang goes. Well, at this point, they lose control of Tibet down to here with a withdrawal, realizing they'll get encircled if they don't. But then it falls. So realistically, they didn't achieve much. With Soviet forces distracted in other fronts, they can't do much. With Tibet's liberation being secured, the invasion of China continues. You may wonder, where's the next part of it? Oh, it's in the Japanese China. And while they manage to take this island, and quickly they start moving in. With from the Philippines, they manage to land in Taiwan, and they keep pushing. With a false tense to liberate China, they keep advancing. China believes it. As they quickly move rapidly. China has fallen in a big chunk a lot. But now to Central Asia, where the north of the Caspian Sea is now seized. And they start moving north in Central Asia, trying to take the rest of it. But them starting to take more and more lands that would be Kazakhstan. With a new front on Moscow breaking out. Oh. Yeah, I bet you were expecting this. With them pushing very rapidly and managing to start routing the Russians back in this area. Creating a big spearhead. With the Russians getting pushed back here and here. But in the back of the front, the Russians are trying to escape, but they manage to keep moving alongside. Parallel, two sides, getting closer and closer as the time goes on. Eventually linking up here and starting to push these Russian troops back. With Russian troops here on the outskirts managing to launch a small offensive to try to stop this. Managed to take back quite a bit of lands there and the north. But they can't push towards Moscow. And over here, they take quite a bit back. As they move back to the Caspian Sea. But they fail to be able to help Moscow, and Moscow is starting to collapse. As Moscow's front becomes like this, so let's go back to Asia, which is supposed to fall. As they move north to get to Mongolia, with a goal of making it harder for Japan to support areas by getting in the way of their, supply lines, and while they advance north. Pushing and then taking Ulaanbaatar, thus with this. They managed to start collapsing the nation, pushing up north to here, and then this area falls, then this area falls. Mongolia, which is now on the verge of collapse, keeps advancing, and rapidly they collapse. With this leads to the beginning of the fall of Xinjiang, and thus an encirclement has been created, which leads to this big of a space, which leads to Xinjiang falling, which leads to this. And well, into Manchuria we go. Moving down to Korea and Japanese holdings. And then they decided to sneak a move, moving into this part of Mongolia. Manchuria, I mean. As they then rout the Japanese out of Korea. Which means in China, the Japanese forces are there and having trouble supplying. Eventually, they're forced to withdraw, and the puppet of China is left to defend itself, which is not good at all, at all, at all, at all, at all. With this all being occupied, Japan's still fine, but they might not be soon. Because there's a secret weapon. No, there's not. But let's pretend there isn't going to be one. Yeah, this is going to be deadly. With Moscow finally falling, thus, they managed to rapidly advance. As they managed to quickly demolish this north, move up this island, move over here, move north over here from the Central Asia. It speeds up as the Japanese don't have enough forces left to secure it. And while that's happening, the American forces finally manage to land. And well, this peace treaty is soon. Also, that hasn't fallen yet. With us being pretty much the situation on the front now. You might think, how will they do? Utilizing geography, they managed to lose their southern bit. Their southern island falls. And then this island gets moved in on. And while they move in the north into the Sakhalin Island, and they move into the northern island. As from the south, they manage to cut off this area, seizing it. Them landing over here, and then quickly seizing this area. And while they seize the rest of Japan, well, you want to see the peace treaty? Well, here we go. A lot has happened. And where will we start, you might ask? Well, let's start in Russia. I mean the Balkans, with a Croatian puppet and a Serbian puppet being made by the paranoid American Washington Pact. Bulgaria annexes Kosovo and parts of Turkey. Greece becomes a Bulgarian puppet, and they get to gain a bit of land. In Turkey, as their Bulgarian puppet, Albania becomes a puppet. Now Poland expanded. Ukraine and Finland. The Northern Caucasus region gets freedom, and a few other the Caucasus nations get freedom. But then we have Volga Russia becoming a puppet, and Russia, along with the Baltics, and them becoming puppets. Then for, Arabia, they gain a bunch of lands, like all the puppets, Gulf puppets. And then, they gain some land from Iran, where Iran's made into a puppet. We got Afghanistan free, and Central Asia. Baluchistan is made. We got Pakistan. India's free. Bengal is a puppet. Kerala and Sri Lanka puppets. Xinjiang and Tibet free. Korea free. China puppet. Mongolia puppet. Japan puppet. And we can see Southeast Asia gained a bunch of lands, and Romania gained some lands from what would be Ukraine. This part was annexed by America, and this part this. Well, the Americans now are the global leaders, and no one will stop them. But will the Washington Pact survive, or will Germany, America, split happen? If this series does really well, I will make a second season. So please enjoy. We'll make a second season. So also, please like and subscribe so we can get to 5,000 subscribers for our next subscriber special. Also, comment your thoughts and theories. Also, click the notification bell to not miss Alternate Future of the World Part 10 on Thursday. And that's all for today's video. Wild Mapper out, and on daily subscribe.